Hello, this is AJ, and welcome to the Point of View story lessons for Comfort Zone. Now, we had a little story before, remember? A story about George the dog, Stinky the cat, and Willie the rat. Now, in that story, maybe you noticed, I changed in the middle to the past tense a little bit, and then I came back to the present again. And so I just want to show you that it is possible to mix these different tenses. One problem in textbooks is that you usually learn one verb tense, for example, independently, alone. But in fact, of course, we can mix them and we switch from one to another, and sometimes it changes the meaning a little bit, sometimes changes the meaning a lot. In that mini story, it did not change the meaning very much, just a little bit. I'm just changing my point of view. If you understand it, you imagine my point of view where I'm the storyteller. So when I change to the past, I imagine myself looking back as if some of that happened in the past. For example, when Willie the rat went to the casino, I was kind of imagining in my mind that it happened, a little bit before. And then I came back to the present and said, now he's rich. And then he goes to Stinky the cat, and he goes to George the dog. So the reason I could kind of jump between past and present, is because me, the storyteller, I was imagining that all of that story, everything in the story, happened very recently. So if I was talking about the past, I was talking about the very recent past. Or sometimes I use the present because I feel like it's kind of happening now or very, very recently. So sometimes if something's happening very recently or it happened already but very recently, we might mix present and past sometimes. So you saw that in that story. But now I'm going to tell a short version of the story again, this time just with the past. So let's imagine this happened farther back in the past. So there was a dog named George, and George was a poor dog. He wanted to be rich, but he was not rich. However, every day he would imagine being rich, and he would say, "Oh, if I became rich, I would immediately buy an airplane." But of course, he continued to be poor. And he had a friend named Stinky the cat. Stinky the cat smelled very bad. That's why they called him Stinky. Stinky the cat smelled bad, but of course he wanted to smell good. And every day he would imagine smelling good. And he would say, "Oh, if I smelled good, I would kiss every girl cat I saw." But of course, he still smelled bad. And Stinky the cat had a good friend named Willie the rat. And Willie the rat wanted a car. He had to walk everywhere. But of course, he didn't have a car, but he would imagine every day having a car. And he would say, "If I had a car, I would drive to New Orleans and eat crawfish." Well, one day, Willie the rat walked into a casino, played blackjack, and he won $70 million. Wow. And what did he do? Of course, he went and he bought a brand new car. He immediately drove to New Orleans and he ate crawfish and he was so happy. He wanted to share his happiness. So next he drove to Stinky the cat's house. And he gave Stinky the cat, how much did he give? I can't remember. He gave Stinky the cat like $25 million. Stinky the cat was very happy. Stinky the cat immediately went to a spa. And they washed his fur and they cleaned him and they brushed his teeth. And Stinky smelled good. So Stinky ran out into the street chasing pretty girl cats, kissing them all. Mwah, mwah, mwah. He was so happy. He wanted to share his happiness. So he went to George the dog, his good friend, and he gave George the dog $10 million. And George the dog was happy. George the dog immediately went and bought an airplane. And he flew to Rio de Janeiro. And he danced the samba all day and all night long. And so George, Stinky, and Willie were all very, very happy. All right, very good. So that was the past that was happening in the far past. Now let's imagine that this kind of started in the past and then something changed a little bit later. Okay, so here we go again. George the dog has always wanted to be rich. All his life, he has wanted to be rich. Since he was a baby, he has wanted to be rich. Since he was a teenager dog, he has wanted to be rich. Until, recently, he has wanted to be rich. And every day he has imagined being rich. And he has said, if I was rich, I would buy an airplane, fly to Brazil. Well, George, of course, had a good friend, Stinky. And Stinky the cat has always wanted to smell good. Unfortunately, Stinky has been stinky all his life. Almost all his life. Since he was a small cat, a kitten, he has been stinky. And since he was a small kitten, he has wanted to smell good. And every day he has dreamed about smelling good, and he has said, if I smelled good, I would kiss every girl cat I met. And Stinky the cat had a good friend, Willie the rat. Since he was little, Willie has always wanted to have a car. He has wanted a car for a long, long time. He has dreamed about wanting a car. He has dreamed about having a car every day for a long time. And every day he would dream and imagine if he had a car, and he would say, if I had a car, I would drive to New Orleans and eat crawfish. Well, one day, Willie the rat went to a casino and he won $70 million. Immediately, he bought a car, drove to New Orleans, and ate crawfish. And he was so happy. He wanted to share his happiness. So he drove to see his friend Stinky. He gave Stinky $25 million. And Stinky went to a spa, and they cleaned his fur, and they washed his fur, and they brushed his teeth. And Stinky smelled good, and he immediately ran into the street and started to kiss pretty cats. He was so happy that he went to his friend George. He gave George $10 million, and George immediately bought an airplane. And George flew to Brazil, to Rio, in fact, and he danced the samba all day and all night. And of course, George the dog, Stinky the cat, and Willie the rat were all very, very happy. All right, and of course you'll notice that when I said one day, I changed, right? And it becomes past. You don't need to think about the grammar, just notice how things change. Notice the phrases. One more, let's imagine into the future. Let's imagine all this is going to happen in the future. We're imagining it. We're dreaming it. We're seeing into the future. So one day there will be a dog named George. And George will want to be rich. He won't be rich, but he'll want to be rich. And every day he'll dream about being rich. He will dream about being rich. Listen for the ul sound. He'll dream about being rich. And he'll say, oh, if I become rich, I will be so happy. In fact, if I was rich, I would immediately buy an airplane. And of course, he's going to have a friend named Stinky the cat. Stinky the cat will want to smell good. He'll be a very stinky cat, but he'll want to smell good. And he'll dream every day and he'll say, You know, if I was rich, if I was good smelling, if I was clean and I smelled good, I would kiss every pretty, in fact, I would kiss every girl cat. If they were pretty or if they were not pretty, I'd kiss them all. And Stinky will have a great friend named Willie the Rat. And Willie the Rat is gonna wanna have a car. He's gonna want a car. Of course, gonna means going to, right? Gonna means going to. It's future. Gonna. We say gonna a lot in real conversations. So Willie is gonna want a car. He's gonna dream about having a car. Why? Because in the future, he's gonna want to drive to New Orleans every day and eat crawfish. And every day he's going to dream and imagine, and he's going to say, if I had a car, I would drive to New Orleans and I would eat crawfish every day. Now, one day in the future, Willie is going to walk into a casino and win $70 million. He's going to be so happy. And of course, immediately, he's going to buy a car, drive to New Orleans, and eat crawfish. And he'll be so super happy that next, in the future, he'll drive to see Stinky the Cat. He'll give Stinky the Cat $25 million. Now, Stinky the Cat, of course, is immediately going to go to a spa. They're going to clean his fur. They're going to wash him. They're going to brush his teeth. And he's going to smell great. He's going to smell incredible. And after he smells incredible, of course, he's going to go into the street and kiss every girl cat he sees. And he'll be so, so happy that immediately he will run to see his friend George the dog. And he'll give George the dog $10 million. And of course, George the dog is going to be super happy. George the dog is going to buy an airplane. He's going to fly down to Brazil, to Rio. He's going to dance the samba all day and all night. George the dog is going to be super happy. Stinky the cat is going to be super happy. And Willie the rat is going to be super happy. In the future, they will all be super, super happy. And that is the end of our point of view stories for Comfort Zone, your first VIP, permanent VIP member lessons. I'm so happy, of course, you will get these lessons every month. Listen to this every day for 14 days or more. Don't think about the grammar. You don't need to think about the grammar rules or the grammar terms. Just notice the phrases. Notice how they change when I change the point of view, the time. I change the time and some things change. Notice the changes, but don't think about grammar rules. Okay, I'll see you again. Thank you, my special VIP member. See you again. Bye-bye.